Of course, every year, probably the feature activity for us here at the national headquarters is our Summer National Convention. This year, we really had a stellar program. I find myself saying it frequently, probably most years that there is a conference. After it's over, oftentimes I find myself saying that this was the best conference that I have been to yet. This year, though, it's really true. This year was one of the best conferences. It was the best conference in my memory for a number of reasons. And probably one of the things I'd just like to share with you is how these conferences come about. Because when they're over, it is one of those things where you look back and you can say, oh, the planning was superb. The thought that went into it was unparalleled, or whatever sorts of ways that you tend to pat yourself on the back. But just to give you a glimpse into how these things really happen, I'm going to walk you through what brought us the particular speakers and the particular conference that really was just so special, that ran from July 20th up to the 24th of this past month. The way it started out in terms of the planning process was in August of last year. I was out in Julian, California for the International Theosophy Conference, which is going to be hosted here actually beginning tomorrow. August 9th is the time I'm recording this. So I was out there, and there was a really exceptional speaker. He's not a member of the Theosophical Society. He's a research director for the Heart Math Institute. His name is Dr. Roland McCraty. And he gave some insights into the working of the heart as an organ, but also as the heart as, really you could say, an additional function of the mind, and the part that is actually more receptive to the intuitive aspects of our being. And all the research. We're talking hard scientific research that has gone into to demonstrate this. It was something that was quite eye-opening and fascinating, and I wanted him to come here. So it began with Roland McCraty. After inviting him, got in touch with Michael Gomes, who is a member of the Theosophical Society and one of our really one of the paramount historians that we have in our Theosophical Society. He's written numerous books, but his first book was a book called The Dawning of the Theosophical Movement. And as Michael and I talked about him coming out here, he came up with the idea that in fact this year, 2012, was the 25th anniversary for the writing of his book, but that it is also the 25th anniversary for the publication of Joy Mills, our past president of the Theosophical Society in America, vice president of the International Theosophical Society, president of the Australian section. You know Joy, our claim to superstardom here in the U.S. But anyway, this was also the 25th anniversary for Joy's book, 100 Years of Theosophy, which goes into the theosophical movement in the United States of America, beginning with its beginnings from 1886 to 1986. It was published, it actually hit the press in 1987. So he suggested that it might be good to try and get Joy here, and that we could have a dialogue between these two authors and also great friends that could take place here. The one problem, of course, was that for the last 2 to 3 years, Joy has said emphatically that she's not traveling anywhere. Crotona is where she is and will be, and that the difficulties involved in traveling at her advanced stage is more than she's going to undertake. So, undaunted, called Joy, told her about the idea, which, while she liked the idea, she hesitated about the travel and all of the difficulties that entailed. So, not wanting to be manipulative, but I did want Joy here. So it ended up with just the idea that Joy Mills has been involved here and has attended the summer national conventions every year. Perhaps not every year, but under every president of the Theosophical Society in America since Sidney Cook. So that goes 60 years back. And that now, I've known Joy for almost 40 years. And now here I'm finally president of the Theosophical Society. And my question to her was, why me? Not manipulative at all. But anyway, we left her with that one. And she said she would think about it. Make a long story short, she did in fact think it over. She graciously committed to come. Annie Johnston from out in Crotona came with her. And it just went beautifully. It was a love fest focused around Joy. All right, so now we have Rollin McCready, we have Michael Gomes, we have Joy Mills. And the finishing piece were two. Also back in last year, when I was out in the Northwest, prior to meeting a woman named Robin Finseth, who was a member of our Theosophical Society, I had talked to and gotten emails from one of our long-standing members out in the Northwest, Linda Jo Pym. Many of you know Linda Jo. She passed, I guess it's been a couple of months, 3-4 months ago now. I'd known Linda for many, many years, and she has always been active, but she referred me to Robin, saying that she felt that she's someone who really needs to be more recognized in terms of the work that she's doing. Talked with Robin, invited her out to present at this particular conference. Robin's particular thing is that she's a healer and has been for a long time, but she's a healer who also has a profound clairvoyant sensitivity. And so she came and was able to share that with us. The capstone, we had Maria Parison come from Crotona, and then we had Dr. Amit Goswami. Many of you know him from his films, Down the Rabbit Hole and What the Bleep. But he's one of those cutting-edge quantum theorists and quantum physicists who has really branched out into a wide variety of... He's really one of these ones who's working on this idea of a unity of the scientific view with spirituality and demonstrating it through quantum physics. So anyway, all of these pieces kind of came together. We had wonderful music from Darlene Coldenhoven. But this is the way the program kind of evolved. We ended up naming it, what did we name it? Science, the many faces of the ageless wisdom. Science, healing, and history. And of course it began with Michael Gomes giving a historical perspective, and then with Joy Mills. A wonderful, part times hilarious conversation between Michael and Joy, always profound conversation that really did a great deal to just set the tone for the conference. And of course, everything that then followed was one thing just built upon another. So it was really it was a special time. We had very good attendance for our conference. Actually, I was quite surprised because the number of people attending this year was in fact more than we had last year when the Dalai Lama was part of our overall program. So it closed out very well, and now you have an idea about the sort of genius that goes into production of these programs. It's really something where you put the right people together. There's no formula. But with a program with Joy, Maria, Robin, Amit, Rollin, Michael Gomes, really was a little bit hard to go wrong. But then, of course, one of the things that always is most overlooked about all of this is that there are a lot of people who get up and speak. There are a few people who speak. But then all of the folks here at the Olcott staff who work going back to September of last year to make this thing possible. It's just, it requires a great deal of cooperation and patience to bring these things off.
One of the wonderful features of every year's conference is the fact that old friends and new get together and have a chance to meet and spend time doing something that is meaningful to all of us. This year, of course, Joy Mills joined us, which made the conference something quite special. She and Michael Gomes had an opportunity to review some of the history of the Theosophical Society, both of them having been authors who have written about oftentimes the same period, but in great depth. So they had a wonderful, inspiring, funny conversation. And then there was a book signing afterwards. Our other speakers, of course, included Robin Finseth, who spoke about her healing methods and about her clairvoyance and the ways in which it can affect our daily lives. Maria Parison joined us from Crotona, and she had an opportunity to talk about some of the deeper aspects of theosophy as well. Amit Goswami and Dr. Roland McCraty held down the science aspect of our conference. All in all, it was something that was quite in-depth and managed to build on each speaker's contribution.
Our evening entertainment was Darlene Koldenhoven, who played piano and sang beautifully for us.
And then there were different breakout groups that occurred. One of the things that was different this year, we had a high tea, which was my wife Lily and some other volunteers, a great number of them, pulled out all of the stops in providing us with an evening of social gathering, and Idarmas Rodriguez from Crotona played piano, and there were a few sweets and cucumber sandwiches on hand. It was a lovely evening. Another chance to sit and to get to know each other better. Oftentimes, across many of these generations, one of the things that we had at this particular conference, of course, there was a time for quiet time in our meditation area, but we also had a number of little kids who showed up, and as they do, have a way of somehow stealing the show, and rightfully so. So that was something where periodically some of the little ones did come and upstage all of our wonderful speakers, and social gatherings all came to a stop. One of the other things this year, we finally had a chance. Janet Kirshner and Pablo Sender have been working for some time now to develop a theosophical Wikipedia site, a TS Wiki, which was previewed here and is now live, and you can find it at tswiki.net. It's something that's going to be quite useful in the years to come, and I'm sure you too will find it of great use. Our fun night, again, no holds barred, for an evening of laughter. Many people complained of pains in their stomach when it was over, because there was just so much laughter, so many skits from so many unexpected contributors. It was a lovely evening, and again, a chance just to kind of relax in each other's presence. So all in all, this conference was one that was quite special. I particularly, as always, enjoyed spending time with old friends and with people that I am just getting to know now, old friends that I'm just now meeting for the first time. So I hope you enjoyed this particular take on our Summer National Gathering and the things going on here at Olcott.